All right, I'm back. Really trying to keep these under 30 minutes because I remember before I used to like I don't know how people made like video game freaking parts and they would have like 15-minute parts. These games take forever to play, especially like the AAA games I was playing, which I still haven't uploaded, and it's going to be really hard for me to upload in where I live right now because the internet's absolutely terrible. But yeah, continuing. Dots. Well, it's about time, or it's about what I expected from someone like you. That's a little blunt. Well, excuse me. It's not like I said it was bad. It just didn't invoke any emotion. So basically, it's not cute enough for your taste. G to the G. Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass. Sigh. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it. Eagles can fly. Monkeys can climb. Crickets can leap. Horses can race. Horsies can race. Owls can seek. Cheetahs can run. Eagles can fly. People can try. But that's about it. Wow, that is very blunt. Is it an anagram? MCHOE. Michaki poo. Nope. No. Yeah, I told you that you weren't going to like it. I like it. What? Just try to be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less vivid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do things can be really disheartening, so I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling of the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, guess not. I decided to humor her for the last comment. I don't really care about how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Excuse me. Yuri. Dots. Dots. Yuri stares at the poem. A minute passes, more than enough time for her to finish reading. Oh, sorry. I forgot to start speaking. It's fine, don't force yourself. I just need to put my thoughts into words. Hold on. Okay. This is your first time writing a poem, right? Yeah. Why do you ask? I'm just making sure. I guess that... Oh, I have like something on my face that I totally didn't realize. I guess that it might be after reading through it. Ah, so it's that bad. No! Did I just raise my voice? I'm sorry. Yuri buries her face in her hands. I couldn't help but notice that it's been several minutes and we really haven't gone anywhere. It might have taken... I just realized you can click anywhere on the screen and you don't have to click this arrow. I've been doing that by accident this entire time. It might take Yuri a while to get used to people, used to new people. It's fine. I really didn't notice. What were you saying? Right. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers and having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing that I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter and they form-fit the two things together. The ending result is both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri opens her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone and she sounds like an expert. Of course, it's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. It's too late now. One of them basically said nothing. Natsuki can be a little bit biased though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if you're apologizing to herself, me, or Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself It's kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Holy cursive, pretty handwriting, ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow, bathing. It must be this one, the last remaining street light to have withstood the test of time, the last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Dots. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. I mean, I just personally cannot read cursive that well because I never learned. I had to teach myself, and I didn't get very far because I didn't like cursive that much. What? I wasn't thinking about all that, but it took you a long time to read. Ah, well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. Yeah, that's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I want to write something a little more mild, something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about ghosts at all, Kami. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing really. Well, it makes me happy that you think that. Just remember that it won't be long before you pick up on these things too. Yeah, maybe you're right. I guess I'll have to keep trying. I'm counting on you. Who should I? Monica. Hey, Kami. Or hi. Having a good time so far? Yeah, good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do together, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Ahahaha. Don't worry, Kami. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's the sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. I like this one. It makes me think of something Sayuri would like. Is that so? You and Sayuri are really good friends, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you had those sort of things in common. Well, we may be good friends, but Sayuri and I are actually really different. Well, that may be the case. But maybe there are also some similarities that you wouldn't expect. The way she talks to you, it sounds like the two of you really care about others' well-being. Even if you show it in different ways, it ends up being more similar than you'd think. So I think that's the kind of vibe I get from when you're reading this poem. You sure you're not reading into it too much? It could be. Oh gosh, it sounds like Yuri. But in any case, Sayuri's writing has kind of a gentle feel to it. I can tell that she likes exploring with emotions like happiness and sadness. Who knew that someone so happy would enjoy sad things too? Yeah, that's totally unexpected. Well, to each their own. And you shouldn't be afraid to experiment a little either. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. I think that's what that said. I actually skipped it before I finished reading. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased towards their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Oh, that's the longest one. Hole in the wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the sparkle protrudes, a noisy neighbor, an angry boyfriend. I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel blind like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retinas, already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he on the other side was looking in. What the heck? I can kind of get the feeling for this poem, and it's confusing and it sounds sad. So what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, the kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be very powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is best friends with each other. Oh, well. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is like this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. And, I thought we were going home. Phew. I guess that's everyone. Glance around the room. It was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room. So Yuri and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Sorry, I'm yawning. Or stretching, not yawning. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clear about the feeling of me giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. You mean you had to try hard? You had to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple of suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it, which people did, by the way. Sorry liked it, and Kami did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Kami liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh, I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. That's not what Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Kami appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Kami started. Whoa, what? Natsuki. Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. My God, what's going on here? I don't like fighting, guys. Suddenly both girls turn towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Kami, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her, Kami. Wait. There's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meanings the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You can understand that, right, Kami? Well, dots. How did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing, but whoever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. So, of course, that's going to be... I don't like confrontation. I can't just flat out. I would in actuality, if I was just reading these two things objectively, in actuality, and I just like, if I read her argument and I read her poem and then I read the other one's argument and I read that poem, I would most likely agree with Yuri. That's because I like things that make me think. I don't like, I also like, it depends. When I'm reading something, I like for it to give me something to think about. So like when I'm done with it, I still can think about it. I'm not necessarily done with it. I'm done reading it, but I'm not done with the book in my head or piece of work in my head. But when I'm done with something and it's like simple and it's right there, you're done reading it, you already understand everything, so it's like, okay, so what else? I'm completely done with this. I can't ever come back to it. When there's something that makes you think, it makes you want to read it over again. And if it's just blatantly right there, unless it's really, really good and blatant, then you're just going to be done with it and you're just kind of going to be bored with it after the first time. So in actuality, I would agree with Yuri. But these are two people that are nice and they're mostly just trying to get at each other right now. So if I agree with either one of them, then that's just feeding into their ego. Mostly Natsuki's ego, if I were to agree with her, which I wouldn't, but I'm going to do this. Natsuki glares at me, drying up any words I had in my mouth. So instead, I turn to Yuri. Yuri, but Yuri's expression is so defenseless that I can't bring myself to say anything either. So Yuri, yeah. Everyone's fighting to make Sayuri uncomfortable. How can the two of you keep fighting when you know you're making your friend feel like this? Kami, well, that's her problem. This isn't about her. I agree. It's unfair for others to interject their own feelings into our conflict. Yeah, unless Sayuri wants to tell Yuri what a stuck-up jerk she's being. She would never. It's your immaturity that made her upset in the first place. Excuse me? Are you listening to yourself? This is exactly why nobody likes stop. Dots. Oh wait, that wasn't Dots. Natsuki, Yuri, you guys are my friends. I just want everyone to be happy or everyone to get along and be happy. My friends are wonderful people, and I love them because of their differences. Natsuki's poems, they're amazing because they give you so many feelings with just a few words. And Yuri's poems are amazing because they paint beautiful pictures in your head. Everyone's so talented, so why are we waiting, or why are we fighting? Because, well, also, Natsuki's cute and there's nothing wrong with that, and Yuri's boobs are the same as they always were, big and beautiful. That's Sayuri. Sayuri stands triumphantly. Monika stands behind her with bewildered expression. I'll make some tea. Yuri rushes off. Natsuki sits down with a blank expression on her face, staring at nothing. So this is why Sayuri is vice president. I whispered to Monika. She nods in return. To be honest, I might come off as a good leader, and I can organize things, but I'm not very good with people. What the heck? What was that? Whatever. I couldn't even bring myself to interject. As president, that's kind of embarrassing to me. Nah, it's not like I can blame you. I wasn't able to say anything either. Well, I guess that just means Sayuri is amazing in her own ways, isn't she? You could say that. She might be an airhead, but sometimes it's weirdly suspicious that she knows exactly what she's doing. I see. Take good care of her, okay? I would hate to see her get herself hurt. That makes two of us. You can count on me. Monika smiles sweetly at me, causing my stomach to knot. Such a genuine person really does make a good president, regardless of what she says. If only I could get the chance to talk to her a little more. Okay, everyone. It's just about time. Oh, shoot, I'm at 19. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Kami, how about you? And with that question, I'm going to stop because it's almost 20. Well, it's basically 20. Yeah.